Friends, today I am going to explore the question of awareness in our daily relationships, because this is where the real problem lies. Because life is relationship. Without relationship, we cannot imagine life. Relationship not only with other human beings, but also with oneself, with one's emotions, with one's desires, with one's thoughts. Whatever is happening, there is a whole inner world. There is an outer world and then inner world. And both are affecting each other. The way we live life affects the society, the world at large, and how the society functions, that also in turn affects us. So there is a dialogue going on between the outer and inner, and both are deeply connected. That's why understanding oneself is also the understanding of the society, of the world, of human consciousness. And this relationship reveals whatever we are. It's a fantastic mirror to learn about oneself. And we should be thankful to this mirror, because many times we react to the mirror, what it is showing. But mirror is innocent. It shows whatever we are. If there is mess inside us, if there is disorder, it will show that. If there is deep peace, deep love and compassion, it will show that. So whatever happens inside us is mirrored through relationship. So relationship is a ground for transformation. We don't have to escape or run away from relationships, because wherever we go, we will carry our relationships. Even if we go to the mountains, isolate ourselves, we will be related to our body, to our emotions, to the nature around us, to those animals, everything. So there is no escape, even if we try to. So it's better to understand this whole network of relationships, the spirit, the ground of relationship. And once we understand something deeply, it brings freedom. Understanding is the way to freedom. Whatever we understand, we get liberated from that thing. This is true in any field. Even in academics or in science, if we understand something, it is no longer bothering us. We are free from it. There is a direct relationship with that. If we understand any problem deeply, then there is a freedom from that problem. So freedom lies in the deep understanding. And if we understand this whole phenomenon of relationship, then there is a sense of liberation, freedom in that. And in order to understand these relationships, we have to understand ourselves. And usually the mistake which happens is that we use only one tool for understanding. And that tool is the tool of thought, the tool of intellect, with which we are usually familiar. We are conditioned to use that tool. We explored yesterday how this tool has become so dominant in our life. Day and night, it is occupying our mind, our consciousness. And we never question that this tool is really limited, because it depends on memories, on the past. It is useful in certain area. In the technological field, in the physical world, it is quite useful. But it becomes totally irrelevant when it comes to the world of psyche, the inner world, the emotional world. We apply the same tool in order to understand ourselves, then we reduce ourselves. We are categorized, defined by our thoughts. Then we become images projected by those thoughts. We become those stories projected by my conditioning. That's why we have to ask if there is any other tool, if there is any other energy in order to explore ourselves, in order to explore life, our relationships. And that is the beginning of self-knowing. And without self-knowing, which does not depend on thinking process, we cannot understand our relationship. And that other tool for knowing oneself, which is holistic, is this tool of observation. And this tool of observation is also the energy of awareness. So through awareness, through direct observation, we can watch ourselves, we can understand our relationships. And the key to this understanding, key to this observation and awareness is to watch things as they are, without imposing our interpretations, projections, without any motive or expectation. When things are seen as they are, there is a possibility of transformation there. Because it is impossible if we put something in the light of awareness, in the light of observation, in the light of deep listening, that thing does not go through transformation. It is impossible. This is the law of nature. Things are going through transformation, but we block that process of transformation through our excessive thinking, through over dependence on the tool of thought, on the tool of memory. Then we delay the transformation. But if we understand this key, this law of nature, that if we hold something in the light of awareness, which is choiceless passive awareness, where thought is not overactive, the me is not trying to control that thing, not trying to change anything, but simply in a very gentle manner, with deep affection, love, holding that space. In that space of attention, whatever is will reveal itself, will flower and die on its own. So in the field of relationship, the primary problem is the images which we project on each other. I form an image about myself from the childhood. I have been told, I have been receiving so many inputs as a boy or as a girl. If I'm a boy, you should be doing this, not doing that. If I'm a girl, you should behave like this. And there are a number of layers, images. I am not good enough. I am missing something, lacking something. I am not beautiful enough. And all those stories. And if I belong to certain religion, certain caste, then that image is imposed. So we are brought up under the heavy layers of images. And our true essence is lost under all those layers. I really forget who am I. I start believing in those layers, in those images. I begin to believe that that is me. And then I identify with all these false images and layers. And I do the same with the others. because of this heavy conditioning. I see others through the glasses of these images. So our relationship is happening between the images. One image is relating to the another image. So what will happen in that meeting, in that relationship? Is there any relationship? There is no relationship. It's only an imaginary relationship. One projection is meeting another projection. What will happen? Division will happen. Conflict will happen. Once there is a division, conflict is inevitable. Once I have identified myself as separate from you, division is already happened, and the ground for conflict is there all the time. And then the possibility of hurt anytime. So when we are having relationship between the images, between the projections, between the stories, one story meeting another story, then adding to other stories, it becomes a complete mess. I am not living life. I am only dreaming. Living as those stories, hardly in contact with my real essence, the true essence. So I live a life of suffering, of fear. So I have to really watch it, be aware of this image making process, that it is going to create a lot of suffering in life. And once I become aware that these images are really false, just being aware of this fact, there will be a beginning of freedom from those images. If I see that this is not the way of living, it is destructive, it is dangerous, it's not way to real happiness, real peace, it will block the flow of love and compassion. If I see it clearly, then there is a beginning of freedom. Because I realize that relationship between the images is no relationship at all. If I see it from my whole being, from my whole existence, not just from the thought, then there is a beginning of transformation. Then I don't depend to connect to myself and to others on any image, on any identification. Because it is very clear to me that this is false. It is all dead. And I have to live life now, in this moment. So I see this is the fundamental cause of conflict and suffering in relationship, the images projected by my conditioned mind, by thoughts. And another problem which comes in the relationship, that I always project what should be or what should not be. This is the fundamental conflict in all relationship. There is the fact, the reality, and then I am projecting something else. I am doing this with myself all the time, telling myself on the basis of my conditioning, my stories, I should be this and that. And same I am doing with the others. I am not being in direct live contact with the fact. I'm all the time projecting the non-fact. Unless I see myself as I am, unless I see the other as he or she is, without any projection in the future, there cannot be deep change. Then I am dealing with ideals. But self-inquiry has nothing to do with ideals. Self-inquiry is to watch in this living moment, to be intimately in touch with the fact. The fact could be I am making images about myself and others. So be in direct contact with this fact, and this direct contact will bring change. So if I see that it's a wastage of energy to project what should be and what should not be, the transformation will only happen if I see what is directly, without any compromise, without any escape. For example, I may discover in my relationship that I don't listen to the other. There is no listening happening. When I become aware of this fact that I don't listen, that's a crisis. And it's a creative crisis. The crisis has to come. Otherwise, there will be no transformation. When I really see this fact that I don't listen and stay with the fact without self-judgment. This is very important. It's very subtle because we easily fall into the trap of this harsh judgment about oneself or the other. Oh, I am bad, I don't listen. Then I am not inquiring. That is not self-inquiry. The self-inquiry is to be aware of this fact that I don't listen and stay with it without escaping into any ideal, without judging oneself or criticizing oneself. Just being with this fact of non-listening. Staying with the fact will bring listening naturally on its own. I don't have to do anything. Simply be aware of this fact that I don't listen. And then I start learning about it, experimenting about it, why I don't listen. And this will bring instantly a different kind of energy. With this sincerity, with this honesty, with this passion. Similarly, if I realize that I don't observe anything. When I go outside, I don't observe flowers. I don't observe trees. I don't observe birds, human beings. I'm lost in my thoughts. Just be aware of this fact. Don't force observation. This is very important. Be aware of the fact that I don't observe. I don't observe in my house what is there. I don't observe the other person who may be living in the house. Wow, what a fantastic revelation. I don't observe myself. All the time lost in the thoughts, in the memories, in the stories. The moment I become aware of this fact, it's like a flame. And I stay with this fact. I hold it in the space of attention, which is a space of non-judgment, a space of love. And that space will bring transformation. If I realize I don't have love in my heart, really, I don't care about anything deeply. Superficially, I may be taking care of my family, this and that, but deeply, I really don't love. That revelation will be like a shock. I would say a very healthy, creative shock. Don't be afraid of that shock. Go through that shock, that crisis. It's very creative. And that will bring transformation. Don't put any ideal or expectation. Don't imagine anything. Just hold that fact in the flame of awareness. Then love will naturally flow. Don't make love as an ideal. It is here and now. Just seeing the fact as it is. Then I can stay with this question with sense of great wonder, great innocence, without any knowledge. What is this most beautiful thing called love? I really don't know, but I am really interested in exploring. What is this awareness? I really don't know. I have an idea about awareness, but I really don't know. Let me experiment in my daily life now. Then there is a sense of wonder, curiosity. Then there is a joy in learning. This is a learning without accumulating. This is a learning from moment to moment. Like when a friend says, love is when you are not. Then it becomes really a great source of inspiration, a question. What does really mean? As soon as I am, with all its baggage, all the stories, and if I'm not aware of it, love is gone. So can I bring love, this which is deep compassion? By simply watching this fact, holding this fact, like you hold a child. You don't judge a child, you simply watch it with eyes full of affection, without any expectation. You take care of the child, you look after it with all your energy.